Hello, this is just a quick down and dirty version of a woo chart, or what some people call the magic matrix. So this is how it works. Basically what you do is list across the top the products that you're providing. So I don't know, accounts, corporation tax, personal tax, cash flow forecasts, etc, etc, etc. And then down the right hand side you list your client names. So we'll just say A, B, C, D, E for argument's sake. Then draw your lines across. And then in its very simplest form, all you do is say that client A, well, they have accounts. Client B, they have accounts, corporation tax, and perhaps cash flow forecasts. Client C, they have accounts and personal tax. Client D, don't do any of that, you just do their personal tax. And then client E, you perhaps do their personal tax and their cash flow forecast. So all you do is mark the boxes for the services that you provide, and you can clearly see that these are then, where there is no crosses, these are the windows of opportunity. So when you're next sat down with client A, you know that you can offer those 3 services. Client B, you can offer those services. C, you can offer those 2 services, and etc, etc. So that is a woo chart in its basic form. What some people then do is they teach you to do a told and sold. So in these boxes, you would mark them off, and you would have a T for told, so when you've told the customer about it, and then you would have an S for when you've sold them. So you might have a meeting with client A, and on this occasion you might tell them about CT and sell it. You might tell them about PT, and you might not have a conversation at all with them about cash flow forecasting. So the next time that you see that client, you can go back to your woo chart or your magic matrix or whatever you want to call it, and work out that, okay, we've talked about that before, but we've not sold it, and we've never talked about cash flow forecasting before at all. So that's another level up. The next level up, and I'll just change pens so you can see how this might work a little bit differently. The next level up is to put values of services in. So forget about the A column because I've used the told and sold, but for B client, say if you sold B, personal tax, some people use turnover, but it's better if we put in the profit. Say we sold B personal tax, we made £10. Say if we sold C corporation tax, we might make £20, and cash flow forecast, we might make £50. D, if we sold the accounts, we might do £100, another £20, and on this one it's a bit bigger job, so let's say £60. And then E, we've got £120 and corporation tax 30. Now what we can do is, obviously when we look at this matrix, we can see again where the opportunities are and where the profit is, but we can also do some analysis. So the B client, that's worth 10 quid, the C client is worth 70, the D client is worth 180, and the E client is worth 150. So this means that we would probably speak to number D first, we would speak to E second, and then we would go to C, and then we would go to B. So by working the values out, either turnover or profit, across the page, across the matrix, we can work out what client to speak to first. Now coming down the page, we've got here 220, we've got here 50, we've got 70, 10, and then 110. Now this way down the page vertically helps you work out where to spend your marketing budget. So obviously on here we've got a possibility of generating £220 extra by working on accounts. So my suggestion is, or the way the matrix works, is that you focus on selling the accounts first. You then work out the cash flow forecasting is 110, so you then spend your marketing budget on that, and then on the 70 for the corporation tax, and then finally, obviously, anyway, so this way across, it's what customers you speak to first, and then when you come down, you look at where you spend your marketing budget in order to generate the most profit within the practice. Now, one step further is to make it 3D. So we then come off the top, and on there we put time. Now, if you go backwards, you've then got a full marketing plan off the back of your magic matrix. So you might choose to talk to client B about his £10 in January. You might talk to client D about his £100 and his £20, so his accounts and his corporation tax return in March, but not speak to him about his cash flow forecasting until September of that year. So if you go across and down, you've got clients and values of products, and then backwards, on an Excel spreadsheet, it's an extra sheet on a workbook, we can look at time. Now, the reason why we got talking about this at the meetup was because I believe, or everybody goes to leads. So they always look to get current services to new customers first. And that's the third thing you should look at. And I've got a whole reason as to why people do that. So the first place you should always go to increase revenue, and this is what GoProposal does, is speak to current customers to deliver current services. Once you've delivered current services to current customers, you can then start adding new services to current customers. So you might add on to here, I don't know, benchmarking, for example. So you're then adding new services to current customers. Only when you've extinguished all of your current services to all of your current customers and any new services that you can provide to your current customers, should you be looking and concentrating, focusing on current services to new customers. These boys and girls down this side of the page know you, they like you, they're already buying from you. You've not got to convince them. When you go out to market and look for new customers, you've got all of that stuff, the testimonial and whatnot, to convince them to come across. That's the reason we had that conversation. So I hope that explains the magic matrix, or the WOO chart, the windows of opportunity charts, a little bit for you, and gives you an idea of why it's so important that you as a practice undertake this activity.